Okay, sister.
Okay. A very happy new year to Venerable Weiwu, Venerables, brothers, sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us on this first day of year 2023. Welcome back to the third session on Buddhist Total Quality Management by Venerable Weiwu. Venerable Weiwu mentioned that if anyone has any query on this course, we can post them up. I've again included the invitation to Buddhist TQM group in the chat. Feel free to join if you're interested in the Q&A in Buddhist Total Quality Management course. Thanks to Brother Inglu for creating the chat group and included the links to the previous Buddhist Total Quality Management recordings on YouTube. Also thanks to Sister Yetming for the link to If Japan Can, Why Can't We? Mentioned by Venerable Weiwu in the first session. The transcript for the first session in Chinese was posted by Brother Inglu as well in the chat for your reference. Thank you all for your contributions. Previously, Venerable Weiwu has briefed us on the PDCA, plan, do, check, and act, or in Buddhist context as preparation, execution, and review, including the corrective action cycle, maintenance cycle, and breakthrough improvement cycle. So before we begin, everyone, please put your hands together and let us bow and invite Venerable Weiwu to begin today's session.
Good morning. Let's pay homage to the Triple Gem. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Okay, today we have to end a bit earlier because of a big event at Tanjang Temple at 10 o'clock. So you may remember that last time we covered the management, the 3 steps of management, originally 4. And just for a quick revision, so we have the preparation, we have the execution, which include doing according to our plan in the preparatory stage. And then at appropriate time, we check the results of our execution, and if we find something has gone wrong, then we initiate the corrective action cycle. So this corrective action cycle is included in the execution. And then we also talk about the review. The review steps include the maintenance, that is the standardization, as well as initiating breakthrough improvement. That is another cycle which brings us back to the preparatory stage. Okay, so maybe I would like to share with you examples of breakthrough. We all went through the 2 years of COVID, and for Tanxiang, some of the groups we have, some of the units we have, for example, the canteen and also the kindergarten had very difficult period because we had many teachers, we had also many workers and cooks in the canteen. But when the MCO was started, the donation, the income was greatly affected. So for for about 2 years, we had to subsidize about 10,000 ringgit per month for each of these 2 units. So at that time, I gave the idea to our people in these 2 units that we need to do something to think out of 2 boxes because we had these 2. So for our kindergarten, I had wanted to let our kindergarten take a different approach in more with more involvement by the parents, and had already suggested many years ago before COVID that the way to do this is to do away with the half-day session and have a whole day, so the children have sufficient time with us at the kindergarten that we can mold the children. When they go back, they can influence the parents. But when we were having good time before the COVID, many people resisted this change. So when COVID came, we had access of teachers, and so I used this as an opportunity to transform the kindergarten. So unlike many kindergartens who started to reduce the salary of the teachers, we did nothing of that sort, but we used the difficult period to provide training for our teachers, and then to ask some of them to be seconded to other units at Tan Siang. So the same thing happened in the canteen. So many of you know that we operate the canteen on a free donation system. So people come and have a meal, and then they put whatever amount of donation they like. And previously we didn't have any problem with that. So we managed to at least break even and actually have a little access. But when the canteen was not allowed to operate, with customers coming, it was a very difficult period. And then our welfare group initiated a program to help illegal workers. We have quite a lot of them who stay at the flats opposite Tan Siang Temple. So when they started that, they did it in a very conservative way, with the idea that they had a limited fund, and so they say that they would restrict maximum of 200, and then gradually added to 300 boxes of free vegan meal boxes. to those who were affected by COVID and need our help. Then I thought over it and say that whether we do 200 or 2,000, we might as well do it big. And then so I started to suggest to the canteen unit that we would do that. So we went all out to reach more people who needed our assistance, including many of the homes, senior citizen homes and orphanages. Also went through a very difficult period during COVID because normally they rely on donation when people visit the homes. But when COVID came, they had to stop the people visiting, visitors. They have to stop the visitors, and as a result, most of them operate with maybe half the income they used to get by a lot of generous donors. However, their expenses increase because they have to use face masks during this COVID period and other medical supplies. So we approached them, and for example, one old folks home had 150 residents and 30 workers. So we supply 180 food for 180. Actually, they asked us not to use the paper carton boxes, but they would bring their utensils and that we just they will come and collect, and that they would cook their own rice so that when they serve their residents, they can have a warm meal. So when we started to reach out, I have the idea that the food that we normally prepare in a Chinese style would not be suitable for these victims. So I decided that we should cook something that like something more spicy. And then I remember in our kindergarten we have Indian teachers, and previously during Deepavali they would cook a very nice Indian food. So I asked one of the teachers whether she would like to work in the kitchen during that period, and then she said very happily accepted that idea, and she actually cooked very good dal and chapati and actually there is another dish she is very good at. I cannot remember. Anyway, after she went to the kitchen to work, she liked it, and so she was permanently transferred to the kitchen. So it was a good arrangement that we could transfer people between the different units of Tanxiang. So when we started to do it in the big way, the donations started pouring in for that project. We changed the name of our canteen to Tan Siang Vegan Kitchen. So with that, we were able to serve a lot of people in need. And then our canteen, instead of having excess staff, had to add more staff. And expenses is not a problem because of there are many generous people. When they know that we are helping these victims, they generously contributed to that good cause. So that was very interesting experience for us. This is an example of a breakthrough cycle that we went through. I will later on talk more on this. But while this was happening, we started by saying that we have to think out of two boxes. In fact, it affected the entire organization. So the senior citizen home also underwent a breakthrough change, as well as our Mitra Welfare Center with counseling units. And also we took opportunity for changing the operating systems that we were using, the Microsoft operating system, Windows 10. For a long time, I had wanted to change it to Linux system, but that would require retraining and to get our staff familiar with a new system. It was during a normal period. It would not be easy to do that, but because we had excessive staff, so we were able to conduct training for them, and also we have a group of members who are very strong. Our lay members are very strong in IT area, so they assisted one of our managers to coordinate this change of operating systems. Another thing that happened was when MCO started, we had to stop many activities like our weekly puja session, our monthly activities, and some annual activities. But because of a group of strong IT, the people with a strong IT background, they help us very quickly move these activities online. And it was very interesting that when we started to do that, we found that the number of participants increased by 300% to 400%. This was really a breakthrough for us. So all in all, the COVID for us were used as an opportunity to transform the organization. And after 2 to 3 years, we actually emerged stronger. also in the welfare areas, our members at the Klang Valley went all out to help neglected groups of people like illegal workers, also sex workers in the red light districts, and also the orang asli, the indigenous people living deep in the jungle areas. So we went out to help this, and that was also an example of a breakthrough in our welfare activities. And as a result, in that particular area, we also grew very big. Okay, so I'd like to continue by sharing with you a very interesting example of an American power utility company, the Florida Power and Light. This is the equivalent of TMB in Malaysia, but this is electricity utility company at the state of Florida. In scale, is bigger than TMB because they have in order to satisfy the demand, they have to install nuclear plants. So the CEO of that company, during his period, were quite proud of their performance compared with utility companies of other states of US. But one day when he visited one similar utility company in Japan, he was keen to check their performance. Now, in a utility company supplying electricity, of course, sometimes they say, there are certain things which are beyond their control. They attribute that to God. They say this is beyond them is the view of God, like when you have a natural disaster. So they were, in terms of the power failure, they were operating like 2 hours, average of 2 hours a year. And he thought that was very, very good. Please remember, you have 365 days multiplied by 24 hours. But when he went to Japan, that Japanese company reported that their power disruption, only average in 10 minutes or even less per year. And he couldn't believe that was achievable. But on further probing and checking, he was convinced. And then he asked how they achieved this. And so that company top management shared with him that they were doing, the performance was like FPL. They were contented until one of their top managers attended a course at the Japanese Union of Scientists and Engineers. And then they heard about successful companies like Matsushita, Sony, Toyota, and so on. They all did very well with their implementation of a good management, quality management system. And the Union of Japanese Scientists and Engineers, in honor of Dr. Deming, who was one of the American teachers who went to Japan to help them, started a quality award called the Deming Prize. So all these successful Japanese companies, they had won the Deming Prize before. Some of them not only once, but more than one time. So this CEO went back to America and shared the experience and got the agreement from his top management team members that they would also look for breakthrough improvement. So they didn't call theirs PQM, but they called theirs a QIP, Quality Improvement Program. So if you look at this triangle or pyramid, in the middle, the inverted triangle, that is the program. So in that program, they have 3 elements. The first one is at the top, the policy deployment. This has to do with top management setting breakthrough improvement items and bring the entire organization to support that. So it provides a direction for the company. So in Japanese, it's called Hoshin. We can translate as policy, but you can, for those of you who can read the Chinese character, Pangzhen also has to do with providing a direction. So a good example is when COVID came, many of the traditional companies who were badly hit quickly turned online. So this was necessary. This could only be done at the very top of the management of that company. If you don't change, then very soon you will be left behind and become irrelevant. Okay, on the right-hand side, you can see another element. They call it quality in daily work. So this is what we call a daily management or routine management, which is also very important foundation for a successful quality management program. Then on the left-hand side, they have the quality improvement team at different organizational levels, mainly at the middle management level, as well as on the first line level, with their workers, their technicians, clerks, and so on. So I went, I had the opportunity of visiting this utility company through the arrangement of my teacher, Professor Kano, who was invited to be the chief advisor for this quality improvement program of FPL. So after many years of hard work, they were successful in being awarded the Deming Prize and became the first the first organization outside of Japan to achieve that. So I have a Kiwi brother, and I studied in New Zealand. I stayed with New Zealand family, and I went to high school together with one of the sons. So we were very close. He liked yachting, and so he ended up at Fort Lauderdale near Miami. So I went to visit him during the weekend, and then on the Sunday evening, he drove me to Miami for me to meet my professor friend. And after that visit, about a year after that visit, my Kiwi brother Jeffrey sent me a news cutting of the news that Florida Power and Light had won the Deming Prize. And in that news write-up, they summarized 5 key performance indicator, what we call KPI. So in terms of service interruption, they were doing 100 minutes per year. So this is less than 2 hours. And they managed to reduce that to 48 minutes. Not quite the level achieved by the other Japanese utility company, but it was quite an impressive achievement, less than half. So in Florida, they also have a common commission. Is their users of different utility companies, including electricity, including water, including internet, telephone, and also government agencies. So the residents at the state of Florida can complain to this commission. So this is a good indicator because it is independently generated, not internally by Florida Power and Light. So they were doing like 9 complaints for every 10,000 customers per year, and they were able to reduce that to a third, to 3. And then on safety aspect, they were able to reduce from 1 minute for every 100 employees to 0.42. And then also the nuclear power outage was reduced very drastically from 0.8 to 0.15. Obviously, the nuclear plant safety is of a greater importance. So they also generate electricity with a normal oil and gas generator, and the equipment failure outage was reduced from 14% to 5.4%. So this was a very interesting success story of a utility company that I had the opportunity to be associated with. Okay, now I'd like to move on to the fundamental questions on Buddhist total quality management. So we must understand that whether we are producing a product, or in our case for Buddhist organizations, we are providing services to know who are your customers. So for us, maybe we say that our members are our customers, but actually it is more than that. Say for example, the canteen at Hanxiang, we serve the public. The kindergarten, we also serve the public, and we have children not only from Buddhist families, but also from Christians, from Hindus, and we also have a Muslim children who come and study in our kindergarten. All races, all religion. So like in the case of welfare work that we do is also irrespective of race and religion. We reach out to the orang asli, we reach out to even illegal workers. So then you have to understand the needs of the customer, going back to the definition of quality, and then answer the questions. If you don't have one, then you have to generate how you measure their expectation of these customers. So I shared with you previously that when I was helping the Hewlett Packard sales office in KL to promote TQM, it was not as easy because they don't collect a whole lot of data like factory, but they have to conduct surveys more than they used to have to get some useful information that will give them a true good idea of how well they are serving the customers. And then you have to understand what are the services you provide, what are the product you provide that you provide. So, for example, our canteen is the food. Is the food we provide. So sometimes you have to think beyond the normal way, and when things are not going well, like during a crisis period like COVID, it takes a great leader to steer the company to look into other services and product, and to look at the people you never served before. So then you have to understand, and you have to measure even how well your service or products are doing, whether they exceed the expectations of the customers, and also to understand the concept. If you want to have a good daily management foundation in your management, then you need standardization. So everything is a system. You have a process to provide a service, or you have a process to prepare the food, to deliver the food to your customers. So that becomes very important, because this brings the idea that you don't depend on the individual workers who do things very differently. So we have companies who used to be very successful, and then when their founder goes away, there is no system left behind. So they were not able to maintain the good performance they had before. So constantly you have to understand and to improve your process to satisfy the customers. You also have, in the case of a service company, you also have to know how well your competitors are doing. Yesterday, I mentioned a story about Matsushita and Sony. So when they were fighting the war of video tape recorder, the Matsushita VHS system won very handsomely. And Matsushita and Sony were both giants for electronic consumer products. So at that time, many people at Matsushita had the idea that that was an opportunity for them to finish off Sony. But the founder said to his people that Sony is a very important competitor for them. So they need good and strong competitors. And competition will ensure that both of them will continue to improve. So this is quite interesting philosophy of Konosuke Matsushita. Okay, now let me talk about management role in promoting total quality control or total quality management. In the case of a Buddhist organization, let's say a Buddhist association, I consider the top management as people like the president and vice president, the secretary, assistant secretary, treasurer, and maybe the chairman of a few sections of the association. So it may not include the entire committee, because the entire committee in some associations have too many people. I'm talking about a group of not more than 8 people in that association. So the role of management, there are 2. Number 1 is to provide leadership, So firstly, to provide the direction for the organization. So earlier I shared with you, during difficult time like COVID, it requires the top management to steer in a different direction. And then to instill customer and competitors awareness. So remember, you exist to serve the customer. If you don't have customer, you become irrelevant. So the competitors are also serving the customers. So a healthy competition is a very good for you can see that in industries where there are strong competition, they normally do quite well. Okay, then in order to provide very strong leadership, it is up to the top management to challenge the same old way mentality. In the example that I had given you, to think out of the box. So to seek for breakthrough. Then the other aspect that the management has to play is to create an organization where you have a universal participation. So the climate setting is very important. So company, when they embark on a program like this, normally they would have a launching, and then they would clearly communicate to their people, and then allocate resources to educate and train their people at the different organizational levels. Finally, the active involvement of the top management group is also key. So when you expect the universal participation at all levels, the top management has to set good example. So later on, I will share with you some of these activities that are executed at this very top management level. Okay, so for today, I think this is a good place to stop. So,
Thank you, Sifu.
okay.
After the preparation and the main execution, we have come to review. Let's invite Sifu to lead us on the merit transference.
Okay, now how do I go to the other? Okay, I prepared a slides for the merit transference. Maybe I go out first, and then to do it. Straight. To make it easy for everyone. So, okay, let's share. And then go to the other one, but it's blocking me. Let's do the merit transference together. So this is only one slide. This is by the great teacher Shantideva. So let's do it together. May all beings everywhere plagued with sufferings of body and mind obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of our merits. So thank you, sister. Thank you, everyone. May the new year be a successful one and a happy one for everyone.
Thank you, Sifu. On behalf of everyone, I would like to express our gratitude to Venerable Wei Wu for spending time guiding us on Buddhist total quality management. Thank you again to everyone who gave up their first day of New Year to attend today's event. We will continue again next Sunday at 2 p.m. Finally, everyone, please put your hands together and bow to Venerable Weiwu. Thank you.